So, Second Timothy talks about that in the kingdom there are vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor. And it says that there are vessels of gold and silver, and then there are some of wood and of clay. And I always, growing up, thought that the vessels of dishonor were people like Hitler that served the Lord's purpose, but in a like they were just evil people. But the Lord has kind of shown me that that's not what he meant. So I thought I would share. So in my house, I have what I call teddy towels. And my teddy towels are towels that we had a dog named Teddy. And he was a great dog. He's a big old black lab. And we had towels that we used just for him. Well, I say just for him. Anytime we would have some sort of, clean up, like if we spilled our soda or whatever, we go get a teddy towel. But they were not towels that we would give, that we would wash ourselves with, or that we would give to our guests. We have special honor towels that we would give to our guest towels. We would call them guest towels. So the Lord's kind of showed me that, teddy towels versus guest towels, those are the vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor that he's talking about. So the teddy towels are towels used for cleaning my dog. They're used in my household. I need them. They're not, I don't throw them away. They're not evil. They're not doing a disservice to my house. They're doing a service to my house. But then I'm not going to give them to my family when they come over to visit. So I actually fold them differently in my laundry room. And when I put them in the into my linen closet, they're folded differently. That way I can see them and say, these are good towels that I can give to my guests. And then these are teddy towels. And I don't give my guests my teddy towels. So that's what he was talking about. And then, of course, it says that we need to purify ourselves so that we can be vessels of honor. And I believe that. I believe that we need to be purify ourselves to be vessels of honor. I also believe that we need to be spackled. So I grew up in a large church, and looking back, it probably was like one of the first mega churches. And so people that I grew up with, I see them on stage now. And if my life had been different, I could totally see myself being there, being on stage, and falling into line in the ministry that is there. However, my parents got separated, and we moved to my mother's hometown, and it's a lot smaller cities, kind of podunk, and there's not a lot here, not a lot happening. And despite multiple times trying to move away, God has kept me here in this town, and I found a place to be. And I've always had, in my career, I'm a musician, so I've always been in music in the church. And so I've been music minister, I've been church pianist, I've held multiple jobs I've even just, I started out on a worship team, So I've always just been kind of just filled in that role. But looking back, it's like when I see the church where I grew up, and I watch those services on TV or whatever, we go back home to visit. It's really hard for me because I saw myself doing that in this big way, serving God in this big fashion, and the Lord's like, that's not what I had for you. And I have a friend who her dad's a pastor, and she's a musician like me, but she's the music minister at her dad's church. And it's a small little black church, and she's very faithful and she's very good. But someone once commented to her recently that you must not be good because you're stuck here. And she kind of was hurt by that. And I could see why, because that's the mentality that a lot of people that haven't been in this don't understand, is that small churches need good music too. Small towns need good music too. So God doesn't always put a spotlight on you just because you're serving him faithfully in a small church. You're serving him faithfully, doing a great job in a small way. And the Lord he addressed that in one of his parables. He said that whenever you go to a large feast and you enter in, do not go to the chair of honor. Go to the low chair and sit in the low chair, Because if you go to the chair of honor thinking you're all that, and then you go sit there next to the host, and then somebody's like, oh, excuse me, we have to move you because somebody else came in and they have to sit here. Somebody else more important than you. And then you will be dishonored by being demoted. Versus if you sit at a low seat, then somebody will come by and say, hey, you need to come sit over here, and you will be promoted by humbling yourself and doing what you're supposed to be doing. So this goes out to all of my Christian people that are serving the Lord faithfully, humbly, being spackle, filling in the holes, doing what you got to do, because you might get promoted, you might not, because God needs good people in small churches too. So just because you're stuck in a small church, that's where God has you. Serve the Lord faithfully in that small church, because you might be a teddy towel. It's okay. My dog had to be washed too. So just be wherever God has planted you and do your very best, because it's not about our honor and it's not about our glory. It's about His glory. And if we serve Him faithfully and always be humble, understanding that whatever we do for the kingdom, it's not for us, it's for Him. And so we don't need to have any mindset of taking the glory or that I'm too good for that. No, you're not. No, you're not. And if you are, you're really not. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.